Hello and welcome to another episode of the Anime Lounge podcast. I'm your host Lance, here with my other host Matt. Every episode we like to drink, and today I will be drinking some Dexter 3-wood bourbon whiskey. Stuff's not so bad, and I'll be chasing that back with a Wisconsin Udder Tugger cream ale made right here in Green Bay.
Yeah, it's Batter State Brewery. They were having a sale, so I picked some up, and it's pretty good.
Yep. It's a cream ale, so I'm cool with ales. Matt, you're not so big into the whole ale line of beers, but you seem to be okay with this one.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I don't like IPAs. We'll just put it that way. I don't like it like punch in the face hop. So this one's pretty good. I think the cream kind of tempers that ale down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like it a lot. I'm very good with this one.
Yeah, definitely worth trying. It's pretty good. I'm enjoying it, along with this Dexter 3-wood whiskey. It's not too bad. Definitely a good sipping whiskey for sure.
All right. So, Matt, you want to let everyone know what we're going to be covering today?
Yes. Today we are going to be covering NieR Automata. Come to find out, this is Core 1. Great timing on that one. We can get into it later. And this series is based off of a video game with the same name, and it is about androids trying to go across the galaxy fighting robots in search for something that we don't actually find out until the very last episode of this season.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. We get so much information about weird stuff, just the life, just learning about this world, and then we kind of get like the purpose of the show like right at the end.
Yeah, literally the very end.
Mm-hmm.
So this was interesting. We'll definitely have some words on this show.
Yeah.
But Lance, what do you have for our awesome Lance's lesson?
Today's Lance's Lessons is going to be the Japanese word for skirt. And skirt is scato. Scato is spelt S-U-K-A-T-O. That U in scato is silent. Most U's are. So that's why it's spelled S-U and pronounced ska, just for everybody out there. So yeah, so scato. We all know that because B2 has a very sexy skirt that she wears the entire series. And I thought it'd be fun to throw that one out there.
Yeah, she rocks around in a ripped up maid costume.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
So it's good thing she's an android, I guess. No emotions on that part.
Right? Yeah. These characters are pretty interesting. I like how the sexuality of 2B started out like, boom, here's a sexual character. We're not going to sexualize her right away. But then as we get to like the final 2 episodes, you get a lot more upskirt.
So much upskirt. I was like, oh, yep, there it is.
Right? And it wasn't even like that intense. It was just some good looking girl with some thick thighs doing high kicks, and then you get to see a little bit of a strip of
some backflips with the zoom down. She's off screen, and then you just see skirt, and I'm like, oh, okay, well there she is.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, that's how this is, I guess.
Yeah, and they didn't make it like too extreme either. Like the small handful of times you see her underwear is really not even that like eye popping either. It's like,
especially for the shortest of skirts that she was rocking.
Yeah, right?
Could have easily been a lot more. So.
Yeah, if this was like a high school show, you would have saw nothing but underwear the entire series.
Yeah, just random wind blowing.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I will say, I never played this game. Did you play the game?
No, but I was very, very tempted.
So definitely probably going to be worth it. Is this a platform game, or is this a mobile game?
It's a platform. It's
okay.
Basically for every system out there. I was just about to get it for my Switch just because that's a mobile platform, so I can play that at work or wherever else I want to play it.
Yep.
Unlike a PlayStation or Xbox. But yeah, I've definitely seen them for multiple platforms.
Okay.
And from what I understand, it's a very fun game. You can run around, jump, slash, do whatever. You can die so many times in so many ways. And I've listened to very minimal talk about the game itself, so I'm not going to act like I know what's going on.
Okay.
But from what I understand, it's actually a fun game. And don't eat the fish.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. I will say all of the boss fights seemed like they just pulled it from the video game.
100%. They felt 100% like a video game scene, and I'm I would bet money that, yeah, they were all pulled exactly from the video game itself.
So how do you feel about that? Where like there's a drastic difference in the anime style or the artwork style, however you want to call it, between the boss fights and the rest of the series.
Yeah, because it was so obvious to tell that there was something off, it just felt off.
Mm-hmm.
Because the anime is trying to tell a very structured story in this way. I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to say because episode 1 started as a boss fight.
Yeah, it threw me off so hard.
Mm-hmm. Like, what the hell is going on? We dive in pretty hard right off the bat, and then our main characters die, and then we start with the story from there. Interesting, it pulls you in. You're wanting to know what's going on.
Yep.
But yeah, trying to separate the obvious video game aspects from the anime, I'm okay with it. Like, because this was based off the video game, so I would like homages paid towards its original source.
Okay. Yeah, I can take that. It was fine. Okay is probably the best way to put it, because it kind of felt like when you're playing a video game where it's like, okay, you're running really good graphics, and then it's like cutscene, and here's the cutscene movie that you have to watch before the boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of it being, because it's not an actual video game, so you're not doing the boss fight, you just have to watch the cutscene, and then you go back to your normal everyday viewing of the series. So it was interesting, but definitely wouldn't want this to be a common occurrence.
Yeah, I can see that. The first episode definitely did want me to play the video game, though.
Yeah.
Just the idea of running around, jumping these boss battles themselves. I just like playing video games where you can be a character with a sword, jump really high, and do like flip attacks and stuff like that. It makes it fun. So
yeah,
that's why I was tempted to play this.
Button masher style games are definitely the more easygoing, when you can kind of just pick it up, play, and then put it down and continue back where you started. Is always nice. I do want to put this out there before we get too far. No manga mentions on this one. I didn't really find anything as far as a manga source for it, so that it is what it is.
Yeah, this was based off a video game, so we're just gonna run with that and make it easier on ourselves. Because
we were just talking about all the anime boss fights, did you have a favorite one? Boss fight?
I think I might want to go with that very first one where we got overpowered by the first, what was it, the Goliath? Was that what it was called? The Goliath type?
I think so, yeah.
Sounds familiar. But yeah, I thought that was very cool because it's just this giant freaking machine just owning our two characters. And then if that wasn't too much for them, 2 more show up. So it really showed an extreme world out there that's like, how are you supposed to advance past this like story area if these 3 bosses right here is too much for us to handle? So it made me wonder if we're ever going to go back to that area specifically, because that's what I would think in like a video game. Like, there must be something good back there. We're here for a reason. So I'm very curious about that. And it's just because it was the bringer in of this anime made me interested. So I'll go with the first quote unquote boss battle.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can completely understand that one. I kind of really enjoyed the first Adam and Eve fight where they kind of split off from each other, like that really short one. I thought that was really interesting because it's the
like
first
episode 1 or 2 where you got introduced.
Was that the first? No, that was later on in the series, because that was Adam. So Adam kind of appears. They have that really, I guess, you wouldn't consider that a boss fight. So
like the one where Eve dies.
No, when they first appear.
Yeah, that was like episode 1 or 2.
What's that really?
Where a shit ton of robots merged together, melted, created Adam, and then Adam got attacked, and then he kind of just pooped out Eve, anime logic, and then they fucked off. Yep. And then that's the introduction of Adam and Eve.
So I guess the one I would pick is going to be the second fight. I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to really decide, but I think that second fight with Adam, the fight with Adam as a solo where Eve ends up sacrificing himself is probably the one I'm going to pick. It just, you got to see everybody.
Yeah, that was fun. I didn't care for Eve dying at that moment. Just added, it's like kind of, to me, it felt like it was forced drama. I get it, but the battle was between Adam and our 2 guys, so I wanted to see just that.
Yep. I guess, what did you take of seeing A2?
Oh, yeah, A2. For all our listeners, that was that random-ass Yorha survivor from many years ago who left the company, whatever, and now she's targeted for attack. And she's the one that's going around killing robots and attacked our crew in like episode 3 or 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
So A2, she's definitely interesting. She's a badass, and she seems to know a lot about the higher ups and why they're screwing everyone over for whatever reason. And that's all we know, and I want to know more. So I was very displeased with that being the only interaction we had with her.
Yeah, because we saw her for, I don't know, 30 seconds, and then we didn't see her again.
Yeah.
So I am curious, do you think 9S is going to kind of turn out the same way?
Ooh, as A2?
As A2, yep.
Yeah. Now that you're saying it in like that kind of tone, I do, because, well, at the end of the series, or at the end of this core, we saw that 9S had that recording, and he sounded like, it's okay to start questioning things and whatnot.
Yep.
And plus, he was already curious that A2 was telling them that what they know isn't what is true and stuff like that. So he's got an interesting open mind to stuff like that. So I can see him.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. He also assimilates when he takes over the bots to kind of try and break them down from the inside. So I'm wondering if all of that knowledge that he's getting from all the robots is kind of swaying his point of views.
Sure. I mean, he's a very curious person, and he's trying to find any way to learn more and more about stuff. And we kind of saw that when he was hacking into some system, and when he was hacking into the home base, and he was overhearing the conversation between his commander and his commander's higher ups.
Yep.
And then they're like, oh, someone's eavesdropping.
Yep.
So they were like, okay, well, he's already kind of breaking the rules, and he's making countermeasures like, okay, well, I'll just make some dumbass fake report to make it seem like it wasn't me to be suspect. So yeah, he's going to be the edgy guy to look forward to. I can definitely see that.
Yeah. Hopefully in Core 2, we'll get a little bit more. That's what I'm hoping for as far as Core 2 is concerned.
Out of both our main characters, 2B and 9S, which one did you appreciate more?
Definitely 9S.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. He was just he had more depth to him as a character. 2B, well, I'll let you answer, and then I'll say what I was going to say about 2B.
The immediate answer is definitely 9S.
Yep.
He is a lot of fun. He was funny.
Yep.
And like you said, he had a lot more depth. He was just a curious person, which is why I was so fast to say positive things about him.
Yep.
2B is what is arguably like the main character.
She's absolutely the main character.
But she's so boring and one-figured. It's easy to look past her because she's predictable.
Yep.
But we are, as viewers, appreciating that she's kind of like growing these human emotions, and she's learning from every interaction that she's getting with 9S.
Yeah, I loved the symbolism that they showed when 9S cuts her cloth covering her eyes, and then she kind of changes. Like, she's starting to change, and then that change happens when that gets cut. And I really enjoyed it.
Like she's opening her eyes.
Yeah. And it's just a visual representation that she is no longer that same android from the beginning of the series. Yeah,
a lot happened at the end of this core, because there was the quick moment where she called him Nines, the nickname that he's been wanting, and the comment she made where she wanted this location saved so that they can go buy t-shirts together. So human interaction stuff coming into play. They're not supposed to show emotions, but here she is clearly showing emotions, which is weird because 9S, he's showing emotions like 24/7.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just a 2B thing. Like, they are not supposed to show emotions. And 9S is? I have no idea. No idea about that one. Because he definitely has all the range of emotions.
Right. And that was such a hard thing to separate between this show and realizing that these are supposed to be androids in a world without humans, and like, period, that like they act so humanoid, but we have to remember that they're not. So it's really weird that they're still trying to like learn themselves.
Yeah, I took them, like, when I think of androids, I definitely think of like Dragon Ball Z androids, which are supposed to be humans, essentially.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of hard to be like, oh no, this is what they're supposed to actually act like.
Right. Oh yeah, and I suppose that's the other big ironic thing, was that there's these androids who are supposed to be humans who are trying to, like, I don't know, they're not necessarily trying to further themselves from them, but they're trying to just finish their purpose in their life. And then we get to see all the robots in the background who are trying to mimic human life as exactly as they can, whether it could be living in a community to as far as trying to have sex with each other. In like episode 2 or 3, that was really funny.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Just
like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's happening. Okay.
I remember the first time I saw that, I laughed out loud. I was like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That was, yeah, we don't need to keep going.
Yeah, so interesting stuff. Did you have any more characters of interest after our 2 main characters?
I did really like, was it Lisa?
Lily?
Was it Lily?
Leader?
Yeah.
The one who got like the virus in her and got saved?
Yep.
Yeah, she was interesting.
She was probably, so correct me if I'm wrong. They're all robots too, aren't they?
Yeah. And I thought that was very strange because my first couple watches of this show, for all our listeners, I watched the show when it first aired like a year ago.
Yeah, you attempted to do a short flights on it.
Yeah, and then I kind of got too busy. And then they had the famous break where the final 3 episodes or so got delayed by a lot. So it was back in the COVID days, huh?
No.
Oh, I think the studio shut down for a little bit because of anyway, I don't remember.
Yeah, they shut down, but I don't remember why.
The point is connecting pieces together. As a casual viewer, your first expectation watching all these is that everybody's human. But when you find out at the end is that everybody is technically an android.
Yep.
And that becomes clear because Lily, the leader, when it goes back into the back history stuff, like the memories and just stuff that happened a long time ago, keyword long time ago, and she's still the same age, the same looks, the same everything. Everybody in this world is an android. And they also make comment when the last couple episodes where Adam shows like the original creator of all the androids or whatever, and it's some alien technology. It's some alien.
Yeah, they're aliens.
Not humans per se, but aliens. And that's a long ass time ago that individual died. So very interesting. Just the concept of technology outliving actual life. And I'm going to be very curious if we do run into any kind of actual living sources outside of the fish, because we saw that there was actual living fish in that pond.
Yep.
But I would like to see some heart-beating alien or human or something in any kind of future, because at this moment we can expect that there is no such thing anymore.
Yeah, I'm very curious if we're ever going to find humanoids, living, breathing creatures again.
Mm-hmm. To bring everybody into perspective, the beginning of this anime said that this is in the year 5,000 something. So this is 3,000 years in the future. Shit, a lot of stuff can happen.
It sure could. Do you have a character you're interested in?
Yeah, so going back to the pond and the fish, I liked Jackass. Jackass was very interesting. For anybody who wants some kind of reminder.
That is her name. That's what they call her. You will kind of want to remind us who that is?
Yeah, so she is the data crazy person.
Yep.
And she's the one that's trying to ask if she can split open 9S to try to get more information. She's that scientifically curious person, and she has so much energy about her, and she was kind of funny in that aspect, so that's why I liked her a lot. I liked her energy. That's pretty much what it came out of. Like, outside of 9S, Jackass was the next character that had that level of energy that I appreciated.
Yeah, I can see that. Completely understand that one. Just the humor that she brought to the series, because she was like, where is your stomach? Let me see your insides. And,
yep. Yeah, she was good.
Which does make it even more funny because, they're all androids.
Yeah, right? Yeah, so that pulls into question that if that whole crew is supposed to be androids themselves and they're drinking water and they're fighting over like pure water and all that fun stuff.
Yep.
Why does our Yorha androids have built-in better systems, or if that's the case? That's all I can really throw at that.
It's kind of annotated to being like buying a luxury car, like a hypercar, versus buying just your standard economy car.
Sure, yeah.
It's like you get everything you need, but some of it's going to be better.
Yeah, just quality. That's really what it comes down to.
Yep.
I can see that.
Very curious. All in all, what did you think of this show? You've watched it a handful of times.
Yeah.
What's your takeaway?
Yeah, so I watched this when it first released, and I watched it twice to prepare for this episode.
Yep.
It's hard to really throw this a good solid bone because there was so much random stuff going on. It's hard to keep things straight.
Yep.
And when it was straight, it was still weird. So this is a good casual watch, not to pull anything too much out of. It's probably a lot more fun to play the video game than it is to watch the anime.
Yeah, if you want to see where all the figures come from, I guess this is something because she's everywhere. 2B is all over the place.
I mean, she's a very sexy concept character, so definitely see why that can make some easy money out of selling those kind of characters.
Yes.
Definitely seen a couple on Facebook.
I've seen a lot. So yeah.
So overall, this was fine.
Yep.
Definitely not gonna suggest this to anybody unless they're into this style of outfits or androids or post-apocalyptic robot stuff. I mean, that's kind of where it comes down to, is robot stuff.
Yep.
That's pretty much as far as it gets. Otherwise, I'd just say I'm pretty sure you're gonna have more fun playing the video game. I don't know. That's me. What are you thinking?
If I had to give a rating, I'd probably say like a 6. It was fine.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. 6.
No issues with this show besides being kind of all over the place. Like, it took a really long time to be like, this is the point of the series.
Oh yeah, like we were saying at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah.
We didn't find out the point of this series until
the very end. Like the action, there was some stuff I did and did not like about some of the artistic styles. So there is that as well. But other than that, like, it was interesting. I agree. This is one of those, I would recommend this as all right, you've watched 50 different shows. Here's just something kind of like a throw on the wall and see if you'd enjoy it.
Right.
Nothing deeper than that, though.
Yeah. Another thing that was hard about this anime, as much as I appreciate the route that they took with these robots.
Yep.
And just how monotone and exact these robots are.
Yep.
They were very, very annoying because of that at the same time.
Yeah, it was a concept. 2B was nice because they gave her growth as a character, but it was just, these are the rules. We need to follow the rules. And then you've got the other robots that are like
the Village of Robots.
No, the 2 pods.
Okay. I was talking about the Village of Robots and the way they talked. Like I said, I appreciate the way that they talk.
Yeah.
But it just got annoying after a while.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them.
A lot of it.
It's like, no, I know exactly what you mean. And then, of course, you have the pod robots that are like 43% success, recommend escape. And it's just like, oh, man.
Yep.
Okay, that's what we're listening to right now. Okay, got it.
Yeah, it's that fine line between, like, I appreciate the smartness that's trying to come out of it and sticking to a character, but at the same time, like, the delivery just feels a little off.
Yeah, and they made all the robots kind of the same,
and
then they made the androids another way. So it's just a very clear distinction between the two.
One part that got me super, like, weirded out, and at the same time, like, I feel like some creative YouTuber could have really taken this to the next level. That scene where Adam becomes the god.
Okay.
And all the robots have those torches in their hands. This is one of the final couple episodes.
Yep.
And they're doing this weird chant underground, and they're like, someone has become our god. Praise the god.
His wondrous grace has become a god. Become a god. His wondrous grace has become a god. Become.
Yeah.
And like their marching and their arm movements made it sound like there was a beat behind it. And it almost sounded like a mini song was being created that whole entire time. Like, just throw a little bit more bass behind it, and I think it could be some kind of small song.
You're so close.
I almost wanted to. No, I'm not. It's not worth it.
His wondrous grace has become a god.
Pando, kill the beat.
His wondrous grace has become a god. His wondrous grace has become a god. We as well shall become as gods. We as well shall become as gods. All of you shall become as gods. All of you shall become as gods. All of you shall become as gods.
I think one of my issues, so Adam and Eve are the same person and they're both guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that defeats, like, because they're robots, it doesn't matter because it doesn't work that way.
Right.
But it's a weird concept because, well, I guess technically Eve comes from Adam according to the Bible So
They got that in line too, yeah. But like the sexes don't.
yeah, the sexes don't
Correspond.
work, which they could have done like what Hell's Paradise did, where they could they're fluid, so they could swap back and forth. But that's not what they did in this one, because I guess they're both asexual because they're neither.
Right. Just the appearance of a male.
Yeah, it was just a weird concept.
It is weird. And the whole Adam and Eve thing felt very forced. And it starts off right away because the creation of Adam was because a shit ton of robots kind of merged together and drooled him out.
Yeah.
And then Adam gets sliced open a little bit and then poops out Eve.
Yep.
And then they have an instant connection. They escape. And then the only interactions we get to see out of Adam and Eve is at this big ass table for whatever reason, separated by a lot of distance.
Yep.
And right away they force on this characteristic where Eve is this child who just wants to play all the time, and Adam is this guy who wants to learn a lot. So this I can buy that, but then the way they forced Adam's sorrows at the end with Eve's random ass sacrifice,
Yep. It was weird.
it does not hit.
It was just weird. That's all I can say about it. It was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in the video game they expand on it more, or they expand on it better.
I'd hope so.
I am very curious about that one. But yeah, that was probably my biggest gripe as far as the show was concerned, is just Adam and Eve.
Mhm.
It was just a weird concept, and
Yeah.
it made no sense.
I could, if you were to accept how Adam was first created with the idea of a bunch of robots pooping him out,
Yep.
and then we got to see at the very end where, again, a shit ton of robots pooped out Eve in a way,
Yep.
kind of just merged them together. Also, the black transformation of Adam was
It's weird.
forced, so weird. It looked a little cool, but it was forced and weird.
Yep.
But-
And then he survives the like laser railgun thing.
Yeah, to
But-
lead up to that, he transforms into a giant Adam,
Yep.
and then he gets hit with a missile,
Yep.
and then all of a sudden he turns into this four-armed monster
Yep.
just out of nowhere. Sure, he looked cool, but if he's supposed to be an android of some sorts, why does he get this giant evolution of...
And then he gets
living-
shot by a tank.
Oh, he got shot by a tank. I'm totally
Yeah, he got
blanking on
shot.
that.
So when he turns black, he gets shot by a tank.
Okay.
And that's when he goes down the crater, and then he gets shot by the laser railgun thing after 9S like basically stops him. And
Yeah, because the laser shoots out from the Yorha guys,
yep.
which I guess that I would have totally accepted that being some kind of like super finale. But
Yep.
to get blasted into space and then come crashing down like a meteor,
Yep.
that was more anime logic.
It was all just weird.
Yeah.
That last fight was weird. All in all, play the video game.
Yeah, it might be a little bit more acceptable in a video game than just watching and trying to justify all this stuff to any degree.
Yep. I'm curious. Are you going to watch Core 2 then?
I probably won't be too energetic to start it.
Okay.
If anything, I'll watch it when the English is out, just
Okay.
so it's a little bit more casual. What about you?
It'll be put on my watch list. Hopefully I'll get to it.
Yeah.
Unless I see a lot of rave reviews on saying that it's like just talking about it,
Mhm.
it might pique my interest, but it'll be put on a watch list and hopefully I get to it. Depends on when it comes out and what other things are available at the time.
Right. And speaking of when it comes out, we learned today, as of our recording, March 22nd, 2024, just so happened to be announced that season 2, or actually core 2, is going to be launched. Was there an actual date? Did you find?
No, it's just announced.
Just announced. Okay, so that can be in like 5 years.
True. It could be in 5 years. That's valid. You know, like season 3 of ReZero.
Yeah, let's just keep pushing that one back.
Unfortunately.
That sucks. But yeah, I'll get around to it eventually.
Yep.
It'll be a casual watch. I'm not going to jump for it. It's not going to be the first thing I watch.
Yeah, this was just kind of one of those where it's like, I am kind of glad I watched it because I got to know who 2B is. Because again, I'm very interested in figures. So I have been seeing 2B since before the anime was announced. And I'm like, where the fuck did she come from?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I kind of thought it was just a quote unquote original person, original character. And nope. Apparently it came from a video game, which in turn brought the show. So now I at least know who this individual is.
Right. And that in itself is pretty much enough. Just understanding a character and where they came from.
Yep. Yeah, because she's all over the place.
We made mention a couple times that the purpose of the show came at the end
Yes.
of the show, and it's probably worth mentioning exactly what that is. And that is essentially finding God.
Yes.
I got a quote from the final episode, and this was when Tubi was talking to her commander. The commander said, "We are not allowed to rest until we obtain God through Process 11," which raises questions like, what the hell is Process 11?
Yep.
But yeah, so comments like that is very interesting. Obviously, humans couldn't figure out a potential God, so they had to use their technology to surpass human life to figure out this kind of information. So now androids are trying to figure out this question.
Well, apparently everything came from aliens, so
Right?
that was not expecting dead aliens at the very almost the very end of the season.
Yeah, I didn't expect that at all. I expected a human, not a form of an alien.
I expected aliens, just not dead ones.
Oh, okay.
Just because they had talked about beings coming from space in the very beginning.
I can roll with that. It's just, I assume humans just in general.
Yep.
Because we're humans, obviously. And when they talk about the future and technology, I just assumed it was...
And, destroying Earth. It's pretty atypical to just blame humans.
That too. They want to go back to Earth.
So, yeah. It's very interesting. It's an interesting concept. Was not expecting that. I am curious if we find more, and that was just the ones that were there.
Yeah. I would like to expect some kind of alien life out of the next season.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
So for everybody who hasn't watched the final minute or two of the last episode where they gave a preview of what to expect next, there is some big war kind of deal coming on.
Yep.
So I'm very curious on who and why.
Yep. Yeah, speaking of that last episode, I was so pissed off because I was on the treadmill.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like 3 minutes of the episode, and then it's just credits. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it felt very off. And then we're like, oh, I didn't realize this episode was that quick.
Right?
And then you skip through
like half of
it's like 2 minutes of credits, and then you get a post scene.
Like 3 post scenes.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's so weird. So yeah. Speaking of post scenes, I skipped all of them.
I watched them all on my second watch through. Just because I thought maybe they might be of
I think I watched
higher
the
interest.
first 2, and I was like, no, this is dumb.
That's the best of them. I liked them at first.
Yep.
And then they got super fucking annoying.
Yep.
I understand that they can be cutesy, but they did not click for me.
It was like 3 minutes, too. They were all really long.
Some of them, one of them especially, the one where 9S is drinking and there's a battle going on behind them.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one, so.
That one was supposed to be funny.
Yep.
I didn't even crack a smile once the entire time. Like, it's not for me. The puppet thing isn't for me. I didn't like it.
Yeah, no, it's real weird.
So before we get too close to an end, I think one last topic we should talk about is Pascal, the robot who was very smart and was the first to break away from the servers. She was explaining how she came to this tree and there's this robot head in it. And for whatever reason, it made her doubt and think more and learn. Thinking to a robot, learning more, made her break away from the server just in general.
Yep.
And that head in a tree became the place of worship because we found out in like episode 3 or 4 or whatever that 9S and 2B ran into. Weird information, but it was the whole idea that a war-driven robot who was programmed for battle was able to break away from all that because of this tree. It's a weird concept. Sure, there could be weird stuff like that in the world to make things go the way it's not supposed to go.
Honestly, my favorite thing was the one thing that she said, which is like when they were talking about dismantling, like taking sections and being who you truly are. Like it doesn't matter, if you're a whole or a part of yourself, you're still like you can still be you. And I thought that was really deep for this show that had very little depth to it.
Right. Yeah, I've heard variations of that here and there throughout my years. And when they were describing how much of what exactly makes a person, not, they didn't say a person, but she was saying like what, a soul or a heart or whatever, when she was talking about what makes a bird. If you were to take off its wings, is it no longer a bird?
Yep.
So to that aspect, it's very deep. And when that conversation was happening, I don't remember exactly where this conversation that I've overheard started, but there's this boat that has been around for a very long time. It's been upkept. All of its boards have been replaced. I don't know. The idea is if you were to replace an entire ship piece by piece throughout the years, and at one point in the future, every single bit of that boat has eventually been replaced, is it still the same boat? So what is the deciding factor between making something this versus what's that one thing that makes it something different?
Yeah.
Deep talk. Okay.
Yeah,
those words.
I do like that because it's true. It's at what point is, in your reference, at what point does the boat change, if it ever changed? And to me, that boat never changed because in its essence is still the same thing. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what Pascal is getting to in the show when she's talking about how she's changed parts of herself, but she is still who she is from the original, well, in this case, the evolved form of herself.
Right. Yeah, so it's bringing some deep psychology into some stuff that doesn't necessarily deserve it, but it's accepted. It's appreciated.
Yeah, and it goes along with everything that 9S has been kind of conflicted about, because he keeps saying that robots don't have emotions, and yet right in front of your face that they're showing you that they have emotions. And Eve is crying, Adam's crying as he's getting his head chopped into.
Right.
So it's like things can evolve, and we're watching it.
Yeah, so much is going on with emulating human behavior and experiencing human behavior.
Yep.
It's interesting stuff. An LOL moment that I had was near the end when there was the priest and the cult of robots that were under Adam, and then there was a random ass robot that took a dagger to the priest robot and just going around just slaying random guys. I just thought that was kind of funny. It's a weird human behavior to try to recreate.
Yeah, it was interesting. A lot of recreations of human interactions.
That and the red-faced robots. I
apparently
liked them in the aspect of the horror thing that they're in a horror video game that they were trying to recreate.
Sounds about right.
But
apparently they're vampires when they bite into people.
I thought zombie because it looked like they were trying to eat other robots,
they're trying to eat the quote unquote people, the androids.
Okay.
And then they were gaining superpowers by eating flesh. I don't know.
Those three did not make sense at all.
Literally no sense. And then they died within 30 seconds of screen time. So,
They were cool, but their origin, their purpose, their whatever, it wasn't enough.
They just need to slow 2B down for a minute, I guess.
That's about it. They're cool. Just don't think about it.
Yeah. And then she didn't get her weird, cool sword thing.
Oh, at the very end where they got access to a new weapon for whatever reason because they need access.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that would be a cool concept if weapons could just manifest like the Matrix.
The manifestation, yeah, I love that concept so much. It made me think of Final Fantasy and stuff like that.
Yep.
But yeah, manifestation of weapons is so cool.
Yeah, I definitely thought of the Matrix.
Okay.
But absolutely Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Yeah, materializing a sword in your hands, that's got to be the most badass thing.
Yeah, that's super cool. Probably my favorite part of the series.
Out of everything, materializing a sword in your hands is the best thing.
As I'm able to look at swords right in front of me. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Nah, this anime is as far as you can throw it. There's nothing too much deeper we can dive into this. It was fun.
If you're on the fence, just give it a go if you got some time. It's an easy watch. It really is.
Yeah. Get it in just to say you got it in.
Yep.
Because 2B is stupidly an iconic character at this point because of how sexual and hot she is. So
yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah.
So this is going to conclude our conversation of NieR Automata. Stay tuned and listen to Matt and I just talk about some bullshit on what we're watching on the side.
Hey Toasties, I'm Missy, here with my bestie Johnsy.
Hey y'all.
Do you like mind-blowing crime cases, spooky tales, and debating theories?
Well, what a coinkydink, so do we. Grab your beverage and be a part of our Toasted Shenanigans on your favorite podcast app.
You can even send us a story or drink suggestion. Hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or at toastedshenanigans.com.
Do you like your manga discussion with analysis?
That's why it's really important that it's not just coincidence that Bomb is following her. Rachel wants Bomb to stay obsessed with her.
Details. Her name is the phonetic spelling of Coca-Cola.
We need an over manga cast counter for the number of times I point out numbers don't make sense in the manga.
Context?
We're not able to see it completely objectively because we have a slant on it. We are more familiar with the Western gods, heroes.
And a bit of simping.
She has this, like, schoolgirl crush blush while she's trailing her finger along the blade of the steak knife.
My kind of woman.
I was watching Bishi guys literally overanalyze and fight each other. It was great.
Then try the Over Manga Cast. Every week, Jay, Matt, Jake, and Sam, that's me, dive in to discuss an arc in a different manga, or manhwa, or webcomic.
I don't even know what this podcast is anymore.
That time we woke up in a podcast and had to explain manga. Our heated adventures over-analyzing manga that we find interesting. Also called the Over Manga Cast. New episode every Thursday on your favorite podcasting platforms, on Facebook and Twitter as @OverMangaCast.
And now that we're back from our break, one thing I want to get into before we really get into too much anime talk is anime awards. Crunchyroll kind of launched those, I think, in between us recording episodes. So just any takeaways? Very glad about Jujutsu, but do you have any takeaways as far as the awards are concerned?
Yeah, so the 2023 awards really weren't too surprising. And
24.
Oh, it's considered 24?
Yeah, it's considered 24.
Oh, interesting, because these were all animes that were
yeah, but
23.
I think it's because they announce it in 24 that they call it the 24.
Oh, okay. Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah, it's my best guess.
Okay, so with that small update, I'm not too surprised about much of any of this, because it's all the mainstream stuff. Jujutsu,
Demon Slayer,
Chainsaw Man, One Piece,
Spy Family.
Yeah, so it's stuff that you already are familiar with because the internet's blown up about it. So I'm happy for them, and they obviously deserve it because we've seen pretty much every single one of these, and I'm agreeing with it all. Like, anime of the year was Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, so fantastic.
That whole season 2 deal, start to finish, so amazing. So much action. It was well worth it. Best in original anime, Buddy Daddies.
I did not watch that one. Did you? You watched that?
I saw about 4-ish, 6, maybe half this first season.
Okay.
Very Spy Family-esque.
Okay.
But it was still interesting enough. The two dudes in there are very interesting, and they save this little girl who's not supposed to be part of their little deal because stuff is going on in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Not sexual. Don't mean to make it sound like that, but they're technically like bad guys. They're doing bad things, and then this little girl gets roped in with them. So it was interesting. I was okay with it.
Okay.
But Chainsaw Man, they won a lot of awards, best new series and stuff like that. Chainsaw Man was a lot of fun. I loved watching that. I'm still, like, every week I try telling my friend Chris at work to watch it, and he's like, yeah, I'll get around to him. Like,
and then never does.
He never does. Because there's always that person that says, I've been told to watch this. It's really good. But then once you actually watch, like, okay, it's really good. I'm surprised it took me this long. But we've all got that list of shows in general that people have been telling us to watch. So this is just one of those.
Yeah, actually, looking at the awards, Ryan Colt Levy won for the voice actor for Denji, won the best English performance.
Oh, yeah?
And it was such well done. It was so good for that character.
Yeah, Denji did an awesome job with his voice.
So spot on for the personality I thought was going to be the character.
Yeah, best way to describe it. His personality is spot on.
But yeah, all in all, nothing super crazy. Oshinoko won best anime song. Absolutely not surprising.
Not surprising at all. I fucking love that opening song. I still listen. It's on my playlist on Spotify. I listen to it all the goddamn time.
I will say, speaking of
also the Japanese version, I don't like the English version. Totally takes everything away from the essence of that song.
I was going to say I'm watching season 2 of Mashal, and that opening song, I did send it to you. Mm-hmm. It's just so catchy. It really is.
It's catchy enough.
Just so it's very funny but Idol is definitely a fantastic song for anybody who has not listened to it. Highly recommend it.
Mhm. And for anybody who didn't catch on, Idol is the Oshinoko song. So
Yes.
you can go find it there.
It's pretty sad. I know the song, but I haven't yet to watch the show.
Yeah, it's a cute show. The show is really fun. It's an Idol show. You don't expect an Idol show to be so drawing.
Yep.
But it's good. This is a show that I would like to show my wife because I don't feel like I'd be embarrassed by it.
Freyrin, that's going to be the other one that you wouldn't be embarrassed by. But yes.
Yeah, Freyrin. I'm surprised. I'm not seeing Freyrin on here at all.
Too new. It was just way too new. Because if you remember, it came out in fall.
Yeah, which is the end of 23. So
yep.
And it continued through the beginning of 24. So it makes sense.
And unfortunately, I doubt it's going to win any awards for next year because it's just going to be too far into the year by the time people are going to forget about it. I will not forget about it. It was the season finale was today. And oh man, just it was so good. Just absolutely so good. 28 episodes, and I loved like every single one of them.
Yeah, I think I'm on like episode 20-ish, 22, wherever the English left off at this current moment.
Yep.
It's such an easy ride. It's so fun to watch literally every episode.
I spent way too long at work talking to one of the guys that we were talking about it, and I think I spent like 10. We were talking for like 5-10 minutes about it. It's just so good. It's so well done. I don't think they're going to win any awards because again, it's just too early in the year. People are going to forget about it.
Right. I can see it's going to be such a loved anime.
Yes.
And then because it's going to get overlooked by Kaiju 8. Hopefully, I mean, we'll see. Yeah, Kaiju 8's been hyped up so much that by the time this episode airs, Kaiju 8 will be airing freshly. So we'll see how that does. But
yeah, we can see if it's lived up to the hype, kind of like Solo Leveling.
Right. Yeah, we can talk about that in a minute vaguely.
Yep.
And then that's pretty much it.
Yeah, nothing.
Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, a little bit of Attack on Titan, Spy Family. Yeah. If you watch those and stay mainstream, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty much all that won the awards, which is perfectly acceptable. You know what you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like they have to just throw One Piece in. They're like, oh yeah, it's still a thing. We're at 1,000 episodes, so come on. So yeah, when something hits over 1,000 episodes and is still popular, people are gonna be like, this needs to win something. So basically, let's just have an award for One Piece.
Yeah, for something that's continuing, supposedly getting better and better. Animation, well, it's really weird to watch a series grow in animation style, like going back to early 90s to now in the 2020s. And there's such a clear difference between 90s animation and today's animation, and it's still the same show.
Yep.
So I think that's kind of funny. Everyone just changes so much throughout the years. I mean, good for them. It'd be kind of boring if nobody changed at all, but
yeah,
it's kind of funny because we've had 30 years of this fucking show and
it's still going.
Yep.
But yeah, let's get into kind of what we're watching. As we're recording this, we're getting to the very end of the winter season, and all in all, I was pleasantly surprised.
Mm-hmm.
I know when we were talking about short flights before, and we're like, oh man, what do we want to watch? Kind of this or this. Like, we weren't super thrilled about what was coming out this season.
Right. And I guess for myself, I had the easy out because
yes, 2
of my shows that I was covering was continuations off of last season. So it's easy for me to say that the season was really good. I mean, it was good regardless. I'm watching a handful of shows.
Yep.
But 2 of mine are back-to-back seasons of continuation, which is very impressive because there's plenty of anime out there that has a core 1 and then a year later has a core 2. But this one had to kick a dead horse, back-to-back seasons. So,
yeah.
And that's Undead Unluck and Ragnar Crimson. 24 episodes all in a row.
Yeah, what are the odds of you picking 2 shows?
Yeah.
Just randomly.
Did not expect them to have such continuations like that either. But they were fantastic. I had zero problem with them continuing themselves, kind of forcing me to continue watching and covering them on short flights. And that's not in a negative connotation. Like, I was very happy to continue because the story of those 2 was always on top.
Yep.
And as of today's recording, Undead Unluck finished its 24th episode. And it's so crazy because this is the end of the season, and it does not feel like the end of the season.
Okay, nice.
So I'm so looking forward to season 2.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I actually watched a lot more than I thought I was going to. And I'm trying to think, the only one, Freyren was the only one that was a continuation for me.
Yeah, that was a direct continuation too. There was no time stops.
Thank God. People would have thrown a fit.
Yeah.
No. Well, I guess technically Shangri-La. I did
that too.
Technically, no, I didn't. I started that this season. Never mind.
You started on Core 2.
Yeah, I started on Core 2, and I binged the shit out of that show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I watched 16 episodes in a weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was so easy to watch this show.
Oh yeah, so easy. It was so good.
I know. I was very happy to show you guys Shangri-La when we were at an anime convention last.
That was November.
The end of fall or early winter. But yeah, November at the Colossal Con North in Wisconsin. We were just in our hotel room. I just put it on in the background because I saw the first couple episodes and I wanted to show it to you guys. And then to my surprise, he just kind of let it play and was having fun with it. And
it's so good.
So good.
A very easy, just background show. And it's a very, very, very easy watch.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I like about it is that there's a lot to it, but it's still an easy watch.
Right. Yeah. So it's good for the casual watcher and the one who wants to really break down. So can't wait to cover that in our next episode.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a lot that I watched this season that I didn't think I was going to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I expected not to watch too much. I expected to catch up on old stuff, which I did. And then it also started a couple new things.
Yep.
Like Change Soldier. That was one that I did not anticipate on picking up, and I just randomly did. Happy I did. Didn't finish it, but
I did finish that as well. It was good. I was not expecting it to be the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
Not something to watch with your windows open, with your blinds open. We'll put it that way.
Right.
But it's still good. It's very good. The way they did it was very good. And I am glad I watched that because the story is very good on that one.
Yep. Yeah, when I get around to a little bit more free time, I did plan on finishing that one. For anybody that's interested, that's on High Dive.
Yep. So have you watched Solo Leveling yet?
Yep. I am, as of our recording today, 100% caught up.
Okay.
I think as of today, we still have one more episode. We have next week.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we have this week, we have tomorrow, we have this week, and then we have next week. We have 2 more episodes.
Okay.
Because it is a 13, quote unquote, 13 episode. Oh. Because they had that 7.5 bullshit episode.
Right. Makes sense.
So it's, I'm seeing 13 episodes. And yeah, so far, what do you think?
So far, I'm content.
Okay.
We've talked about this in our last scheduled episode that we had. Its ups and downs are there. It's like every other episode is full of action. Every other episode has some kind of build up.
Yep.
Which is fine. In hindsight, you need that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So I'm okay with it. It makes me want this as a video game platform as well. Because obviously the way everything is going makes it feel like a video game.
Yep.
So I can really jive with that. So that's why it's really interesting. Because I would love that for myself.
Yep.
What about you? What are your thoughts?
I will say so far it did not live up to the hype.
Oh yeah, the hype was untouchable.
Now, I also want to say that does not mean I did not think this was a good show.
Right.
It's good. It's just not. They were making it seem like this was going to be like a top 5 anime.
Mm-hmm.
And so far it has not lived up to that hype. Doesn't mean it can't get there, but it's been fine so far because of like what you said, where it's fantastic episode and then it takes like 3 steps back and then another fantastic episode and a couple steps back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I am looking forward to the continuation because I feel like that's really what's going to step it over the top.
Oh yeah. And like what we've heard from what other people supposedly know about this show is it is going to skyrocket eventually.
Yes. That's from what our friend Ryan had said, who, when we were talking to him, I'll believe him when he says, just wait. I'll believe him.
Yep, exactly.
So yeah, it's been good so far. Not complaining. It just has not been up to the hype.
Mm-hmm.
Kaiju 8 has not been as hyped as Solo Leveling was. Like, I was seeing Solo Leveling everywhere, and not so much the case for Kaiju 8.
Which could be a good thing. You know,
Yes.
maybe it's humbling itself enough to make you not have these over-exaggerated expectations like Solo Leveling did.
Yep.
So it's gonna be a well-watched show for sure. So we'll see how fast that takes off.
Yep.
To continue with this past season, I was watching Metallic Rouge.
Yep. How's that?
That one is a decent show. I'm saying that because we have one more episode to watch as of this recording date. I expect it's going to be a good one.
Okay.
It's an original series. I appreciated the entire thing.
Okay.
It made me feel like the good old Adult Swim days.
Nice. Very nice.
And it was a decent story. And I think it's going to be an easy cover for us to just talk about, shoot the shit.
Nice. Always love those. I do have a question. So I know you were doing manga for Undead Unluck and which one?
Ragnar Crimson.
Ragnar Crimson. Yep, that's right. How is your manga journey going? Like, how are you enjoying it?
Those are the only manga that I am reading.
Yep.
It's not to say that I'm not curious about reaching out to other stuff, which eventually I will, because I am definitely curious on continuing something. But reading manga, it's a pretty interesting experience.
Okay. Are you happy you made the decision to do it?
Yes, definitely. Because as much as we talk about the differences between anime and manga with your Matt's Manga Mentions, it always makes me curious about the shows that I'm watching, if there's ever going to be any separation. And when I do find that separation, my heart skips a beat. I'm like, oh, I know something that the general public doesn't know. And it's so fun to find those. But it's also just nice to know just all that extra information. So, yeah, I guess what it really comes down to is finding those golden nuggets of differences on my own.
Yep. No, I get that. I definitely don't have that opinion of, oh, I know what you don't know.
I mean, it's nothing that I would hold over anybody's head, but it's fun to share the information when I have the opportunity, I guess.
Yes.
So it's a yes and a no.
No, I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying, though, because it's very easy to get excited about it.
Yeah.
Especially when there's some when you're doing what you do for your short flights, because you immediately get to go tell people hey, this is different from the anime and the manga. I'm curious how they're going to bring out this instance, because there's probably been a couple where they just skip over it completely, and then there's probably also been some more where they just bring it later.
Yep, exactly. I was about to say that, but I didn't want to steal that from you. Yeah, most of the time, 9 out of 10 times, it's just in a different location in the anime.
Yep.
There's a small handful of times where it's straight up skipped 100%.
Yep.
But yeah, it's usually just placed in a different area.
Yeah, and because I've done so much of the mangas at this point, I know exactly what you're talking about. Where for fight scenes, you're like, oh, look, that was 1 page, and now it's a 5-minute fight scene instead.
Yep.
And
I remember one scene specifically in Ragnar Crimson, an entire chapter. I'm very happy with what they did.
Yep.
An entire chapter was pure fighting.
Yep.
I don't even think there was a single word spoken. It was pure action. I was flabbergasted. I'm so surprised they went to that length.
Yep.
And even though that was an entire chapter's worth of fighting, the anime did it one better and made that a 5-minute fight scene. It was so awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah. Very pleased with the translation between those two mediums.
One thing I will say is in Shangri-La, for example, some of the fights, every single fight, they've elongated comparatively.
Yeah.
No, absolutely no issues with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that series is basically the whole concept is about video games, and it enhances the show by making the fights longer.
Right.
So it's needed. But you lucked out and you picked 2 shows that are very well done comparatively to the manga.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very curious if you pick another one and it's not.
Yeah. But back to your original purpose of asking about manga and stuff like that.
Yes.
Now that I've started Ragna and Undead.
Yep.
And those stories are clearly not finished.
Yep.
I have the opportunity to continue the manga. I'm it's pretty compelling, and I think I kind of will, because
it's hard not to.
It's hard not to, exactly. Like, I have the opportunity to know what happens next. Why exactly would I stop myself?
I will say it's nice not knowing.
To be wowed by the animation?
Yes.
Because that's what I'm doing now, is I'm watching the anime and then I'm reading the manga.
Yep.
Because you get so much joy out of a visual effect on the TV versus reading it and then using your imagination and just filling in the blanks between panels. But it's what do you want to do? You want to get the story done, or do you want to have fun watching these fight scenes? It'd be a different story if it wasn't like a shonen kind of style, I guess.
Yes and no, because sometimes the drama just isn't as good the second time around.
Makes sense.
So it's like, do you want everything to be spoiled beforehand and just kind of get immersed into the story? Or do you want to just get immersed into the story and then see how it was potentially done differently?
Right.
Or you can watch those subtle cues that a lot of them will give you that you would have missed if you read it the first time.
Right. And yeah, that makes it obvious, because when Reign of the Seven Spellblades came out, I read the manga with those short flights, and I read the manga first and then I read the anime. And then having that experience, the anime was really spoiled and felt of a lesser quality because of the expectations. So I wonder if I would have appreciated the anime a little bit more if I didn't know that kind of stuff.
Well, it also doesn't help that, when they were walking, it didn't seem like they were walking. But yeah.
Yeah, that was
that was
an animation style that I didn't appreciate. But the story was great. Love the story.
Yeah. It's a very thin line of what it is. Like for me with Jujutsu, I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't happening. But for like My Hero, honestly, I just like the manga. And while the anime is good, I just don't care enough to like have to watch it every single week.
Right.
So it's a very thin line. Good luck.
I was gonna say that sounds very acceptable for My Hero, because My Hero is old school comic book style kind of deal. So you can just read the manga as if you're reading an old comic book, and you'll get the story. You're gonna
be perfectly happy with it.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes I wish I hadn't have started just reading through the manga, and other times I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm cool with it. So it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I'm very happy you took the leap into reading mangas, because you didn't even do that really when we were younger either.
No, this was outside of Yu Yu Hakusho. This manga experience is pretty much my first.
Nice. I'm very happy about that. We'll put it that way. I'm very happy.
Well, outside of what's going on this season, or even continuing what's going on this season, what else are you watching on the side? Because I know you have a small handful of other things you're experiencing.
Yes. So I did season 3 of Classroom of the Elite. Good story. Nothing outlandish to talk about for that one. Season 2 of Mashal, which I kind of brought up already. Absolutely loved the opening credits of that one. It's very good. I can't wait for us to cover that one, because it was very well done. They did just announce the dub, because that one hasn't been dubbed yet.
Of Mashal?
Mashal hasn't been dubbed yet.
Oh, they haven't been...
Nope.
Interesting. Usually popular enough anime gets dubbed relatively quick.
Right.
And we're at the end of the season and it hasn't been dubbed at all?
Nope, not at all.
Oh, I mean, personally, I was waiting for it to get dubbed, but interesting. Took a minute, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I watched a handful of episodes of Delicious in Dungeon. That's on Netflix. I don't know if you've watched that one.
I have no idea what that is.
Basically, it's about a foodie in a dungeon.
Okay.
That's the most generic way I can bring it up. Interesting concept. We'll put it that way.
All right.
So,
are you having a good time with it?
It's fine. My coworker that I bullshit with anime, he said I need to watch it. So I've been kind of just slowly getting through it. I think I'm 4 episodes in.
Okay.
It's fine. Crazy concepts, crazy things going on. Nothing outlandish about it to bring home and talk about. Chain Soldier, I did really enjoy that one.
Mm-hmm.
The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic was another one I watched. I need to watch the season finale of that one. Did you watch that one?
I am halfway through the season at the moment.
Okay.
And I'm enjoying every episode so far.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been real good. Another one that I watched a couple episodes of was Gushing Over Magic Girls or Magical Girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds harem hardcore.
It's insanely ecchi.
Uh-huh.
And don't watch it around other people because there will be questions. Lots of questions. And yeah, I think I watched like 2 episodes and I was like, okay, all right. I have nothing to say about this one.
I am a pervert, I think. What?
It's a concept. It's
okay.
Yeah. Without saying anything, anybody who's watched it knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Tales of Wedding Rings. I watched that one. I think I'm like 8 episodes in. Did find out our friend William Ofebu. He is actually one of the characters.
Oh, okay.
From that, he is the sex ghost. That's what he is. The concept is interesting. You get boobs. That's about all I can say about that one. You get boobs and some power-ups. It's, nothing super crazy like, oh my god, this is an amazing series. But we get to hear our good friend William in another dubbing show. So always got to watch more of that.
Sure. Yeah, that's good enough.
And then trying to think if there's anything else. I tried watching a lot more this series, just kind of expanding on my horizons of what I wanted to watch, besides continuing on Freyrin and Shangri-La. Yeah, so I watched a handful.
Fair enough.
It's a lot more than I thought I was going to. Like what Bryce had talked about, the season was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
As for myself, I watched a lot of what you were sharing, but I was also watching a couple things on the side.
Nice.
I watched this one show called Blood Blockade.
Interesting.
The artwork for its thumbnail caught my eye.
Okay.
Ironically enough, it's about someone's eyes. So it's the main character is the voice actor of Senku from Dr. Stone. Love that guy, so it was really fun watching him.
Yep.
This show felt like it belongs on Adult Swim.
Okay.
So that was a lot of fun. It was just a fun show to just watch. It was aliens coming down to Earth.
Did that come out this season? Or is that just an older show?
Definitely not older.
I'm just not seeing it on the list.
Apparently, it came out in 2015.
So it is an older show.
Holy shit.
That's 9 years ago.
Okay. So I watched an old anime.
I wouldn't go old, but yes.
Yeah. Well, it's a little bit older. Just a little bit. But it was very good. I liked it a lot.
Nice.
It was interesting, easy watch. Some anime logic just because of the style of anime that it is.
Yep.
Acceptable to all degrees. It's fine. I enjoyed it. Something that I could suggest for something that we want to watch in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something.
Okay.
Another anime that I have watched was, I guess, going through my Crunchyroll history. I guess really the most of it has been catching up with all of today's shit, which is Shangri-La, Freyrin.
Yep.
I got through all of Dead Mount Death Play. That was a lot of fun.
Nice.
We'll cover that in the future.
Definitely.
And I started watching this one random ass show.
Okay. Random ass, just like your the one you were just talking about, came out in 2015.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a lot newer. Oh, I guess I started the beginning of Tsukimichi Moonlight Fantasy. That caught my interest. I'm not too opposed to watching that.
Oh, yep.
Okay, I didn't put it on my list, and I don't know where I lost it, but there was another show I watched that it's something about it's only 5 episodes long, and it was pretty interesting. I guess that's as far as I can say, but Last Summoner, Black Summoner.
Oh, Black Summoner, yeah.
I mean, that's something I watched a while back. Those are fun anime to watch. I think those are going to be easy covers to talk about as well. Oh, I think I also watched Lord Marksman and Vanidus. I watched 2 episodes of that, kind of just starting and stopping stuff. Oh, here it is. The Witch and the Beast. It's something about I'm not even going to try to describe it. It's a short series and it was actually fun.
Okay, nice.
So I didn't watch all of it. I take that back. There's, as of right now, I see 10 episodes. So maybe when I started it, there was only a couple episodes out. Yeah, I watched 3 episodes of it. I thought it was good.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so just catching up on a bunch of mainstream stuff, I guess.
Hey, nothing
outside of these randomos.
Nothing wrong with that, though.
Either way, consumed a lot of anime.
Exactly. It's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, other than that, that's my anime life.
Nice. I am absolutely looking forward to the spring season. That's going to be a really good one. I know we'll definitely talk about that come spring. Yeah, we can definitely talk about kind of what we're watching at that point, because I haven't made a definitive list as of yet. So I just know there's a lot to look forward to next season.
Oh yeah, there's plenty.
And unfortunately, no ReZero.
Yeah.
Very disappointed. But that's okay. Just looking forward to it eventually when it does come out, I guess.
Yeah. I guess at this point, I'd rather it come out correct than shitty.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's going to complete today's episode. Thank you, everybody, for listening to us this far. I know the first half of this episode was the main content, and now you've listened to us ramble on about random anime. The Crunchyroll Awards was interesting, and I'm glad you stuck around for that. If you haven't already, please leave a review on whatever platform you're listening to us on, because that's going to help us tremendously and help reach other people. Please go to YouTube and find our Short Flight series. You've heard us ramble on about what we covered last season on Short Flights, and you can follow us in this upcoming season with what we're covering now. And also, please go support us on the Anime Show on Facebook and Instagram. Stay up to date on everything anime related, because they have a lot of great information about upcoming anime news. And until next time, we will see you.